Okay, so this video is going to be about how to set up a walkthrough and animate and record that as in a video format. And so we start out, I'm using the same file from week 14. I just saved it into a new location. And we're going to add walkthrough to it. So I'm on the level 1 plan. And so we go to view and 3D view, and we go walkthrough. So in my options up here, uh, most of the time you're going to leave perspective turned on because it looks more natural to the eye. The offset is the height of the camera, and 5'6" is kind of a normal eyeball height, so that's okay. And so now then the first place you click is going to be the start of your path, and then you'll go through and click a path, and you'll notice that the camera is pretty much tangent to the direction that you've been going in. All right, and then I'll get my path made. And let's go edit walkthrough and open walkthrough. And so I'm going to tile my views. No. Okay, so now our camera is still at the end. I can tell that by the view angle right there. So let's take it back to the very beginning and then play it, and you can see how it looks there. Okay. So we're seeing a lot of the exterior walls. So what we can do is we can come in here, and when I click inside the floor plan view, grab this little red dot right here, that's the target. And so I can change the angle that I'm viewing and then move to the next keyframe. It clicked out of edit. So next keyframe. Oh, and keyframes are the major frames if you haven't figured that out yet. Okay, and so I'm just adjusting these things. I'm not going to do all of them around there. Now, one thing I do want to do is I'm going to change my view over here, and sometimes this makes a difference, sometimes not. Depends on what kind of output you want, because video formats have standard sizes as far as the width to height ratio, so you kind of want to be careful changing those around. You don't want to get too crazy with it. Now, it certainly looks better if we go to realistic mode. Okay. Now let's back up to the very beginning. And play it again. Exciting, isn't it? Walking through the building. Okay, enough of that. Some of these things are hard to stop them when they get going. All right, so that's kind of how you set up a walkthrough. Now, the properties over here, same as with a lot of things, you can turn on and off invisibility graphics, change your detail level, um, the rendering settings. Here's where your lighting, your draft, those kinds of things. Okay. Um, this right here, the walkthrough frames, we can click it here to bring that up, or we can click up here on the 300. 300 frames is kind of a default setting for Revit. And we can change total number of frames here. If we need to make more frames because we need the video to be longer or slower or whatever, we can do that. Now, frames per second is, I don't know if you've ever messed with any video editing or video creation or whatever, you know that it's so many frames, and this goes back to the film movie days, of frames per second that the movie would travel. Okay, that the tape would travel. The normal for television broadcast is like 30 frames per second. And with 15 frames per second, that's okay for computer playback. But if you're going to use your output for a higher quality video, if you will, you'd want to up that to 30 frames per second. And that means you need to increase the number of frames that you have and then reapportion how fast things are going. Now, we have a thing here. If we turn off uniform speed, we can change the speed of individual keyframe segments. Okay. So it'll be kind of hard to tell. We'll get right here and we'll slow this one down. We'll say 0.5. And then we'll go back to normal, and let's change that one to 3. Make it go through there faster, okay? All right. And so now, no, let's play it watching this. There's the slowdown. And here's the speed up. Okay. Hate having to wait on it. Some of the other things to be aware of down here, of course, detail level and visual style. But if you've got shadows on or off, especially if it's an exterior, you'd want to turn shadows on. You could turn shadows on for an interior one also. That'd be fine. And you've got, the exterior stuff, exterior sunlight would be shining in based on however you got it set up. So practice with this file a little bit just to kind of get a feel for how this stuff is going. Now, to export it and save it as a video file, you'll come up here, File, Export, Images, Walkthrough. Okay, and so here we've got frames. Well, this is another thing. When you make a path for your walkthrough, if it goes through a door, the door does not open and close. The door is closed in the model, and so your camera just passes right through the doorway. You can make multiple walkthroughs to start and stop at doors, or you could do one walkthrough path, and then when you go to output it, here you choose the range of frames that you want to do. So you might do like from 100 to, or 1 to, we'll say 120 hits our first door, and it would save that file and then do another output picking up on the other side of the door, say frame 130, I don't know, unto the end of it. Okay, most of the time you're going to leave it realistic with the edges turned on. Zoom, dimensions, those kind of things. So if we tell it okay, now you have to give it a file name, and just the way our faculty computers are set up, we cannot save videos to the drive, so I have to save them to my desktop. And this will be walkthrough number 3. All right, so you see it comes out as an AVI file type, and that's the only video option you have within Revit. And so if I go save, now it asks for the type of video of the compression codec. And I typically use Microsoft Video 1. And because I've already done some stuff that I'm going to hook onto the end of this video, that's what I would run with this one. But these are what are available on my computer. Yours will probably be different. Okay, and you should have the Microsoft one, and you should have full frames. The others, I don't know what you're going to have. So you're just going to have to see what you got and then let it run. And this takes a while. I'm on draft mode, so it looks kind of jerky and it takes a while. Once you get your pathway down and you like it, you can increase your resolution up to medium or high, and then set it to run, and go get a cup of coffee or something and let it run. So I'm going to pause this video and then come back with more later. All right, I ran the animation, saved it, and when I went to open it, it will not play in the Windows Media Player, which is weird because I used the Microsoft codec to create it with. But here it is. It'll play in the VLC Media Player that we install in the lab, and I reference it in the syllabus. You just do a search for VLC Media Player and download it and install it. It will play just about any video or audio format known. So it's a 20-second video, and so we'll run it and you can see how it looks. Now remember, this was on draft mode, so that's why it's kind of funky looking. Okay, so I ran it a second time to get one that would play in the Windows Media, and for this one I used the full frame uncompressed codec, and it'll play in the media player. The problem is the file size. So the first one that I did, that I showed you, was 8.5 megabytes. This one is over 200 megabytes in file size. So I'll go ahead and play it for you. And this one took longer to render than the other one did. And as you can see, the quality is a little bit better, but it's still on draft mode, okay? So I guess I would recommend doing it here with, run it in one of them, figure out what works on your computer. Like you saw, I had an Intel one, a couple of Intel types, and then I had a couple that come with my with my screen recording software. Just see what's on your computer and try it and see how it works out. Okay. All right. Now the exterior. Um, I set up an exterior walkthrough, and let me go to the site plan. And I'm just showing you this so you'll have a little bit of information on the thing. Um, and so let me select it. And here you can see my path that I used. And I put it, right at the edge of my property. And I edited the camera um, so it pointed into the building at all the points around. And I adjusted the height of it to like 15 feet above ground level. But let me move that over. And so I'm going to play it, and you can also watch. Well, I thought it would show it going around here. Anyway, so you can see that because I don't have property going like way, way over there, it kind of clips off on the property. Well, the far clip distance on the camera also cuts out some of that. So that's kind of how you would do an exterior rendering. And I'll play through a couple of the keyframes here, and you can see the camera angles that I used. And this is your far clip right here. You can see, and so you can see here, if something were to be visible, like this corner of the building would normally be visible from that camera angle. Now it's not going to be because of, you can see right there, it's just cut off. So if I drag that further out, then it pulls in the rest of the building over there. Oh, that did it for the whole camera. Okay. All right. So that's kind of video things. In your project assignment for this week in this class, there's a lot more information. Give you a little building. You're going to create the walkthrough through it, and don't worry about going through doors. We're just gonna blow through them like Superman. Okay, just pass right through them. If you got questions, come and see me. Send me an email, and we will get you fixed up.